Hey everyone, my name is Ryan Cam. Before I jump into the review today, I just want to give a bit of a warning, just a warning, a disclaimer, call it whatever you want. Today, I'm going to be talking about a movie called Intolerance, Love Struggle Through the Ages. It was directed by a man named D.W. Griffith. D.W. Griffith directed a movie called The Birth of a Nation, which, from all reports, is said to be one of the most racist movies ever made. I have not personally seen it, but I looked up the plot on Wikipedia, and wow, it is just... To sum it up for all of you, it's essentially a plot in which the movie shows the Ku Klux Klan, a very well-known hate group, as the heroes, and shows African Americans as the villains. I cannot make this up. That's the basic gist of this plot. So when I had to watch Intolerance, because it is on the AFI's list, I knew that I was going to be watching a D.W. Griffith movie. And I'm not going to sit here and say that this movie is racist, because it isn't from what I was able to see. But, well, YouTube comment sections exist, so I just wanted to get out in front and say that I don't endorse any of D.W. Griffith's beliefs in any form or fashion. If I compliment him in any way, it's more than likely because of something that he did in this movie. The production design, sound design, whatever. You all are an incredibly smart audience, so I really don't feel the need to say this, but again, the times that we live in predate that if you don't say out loud that you are not a racist, then there are a large chunk of you that will more than likely believe that you are a racist. So disclaimer aside, I want to jump into the review now. Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam and welcome back to the AFI Project. Today we're going to be taking a look at Intolerance, Love Struggle Through the Ages. This was directed by D.W. Griffith. It was released in 1916. That is a long time ago. And it tells, well, 4 stories. The first being the Passion of the Christ, the second being the Fall of Babylon, the third being the St. Bartholomew's Day Massacre, and fourth being a modern tragedy. Or, well, a tragedy taking place in the late 1910s. In my research, I found that this movie was the most expensive movie ever made at the time. In today's money, it was about $9 million to make it. Now, again, $9 million today would basically fund about 15 movies from A24, but back in 1916, that was like a king's ransom. But time has been kind to this movie in that some critics call this movie one of the greatest, if not the greatest, movie ever made. I take claims like that with a grain of salt because, despite the fact that I've seen Citizen Kane, which is objectively seen as the greatest movie ever made, and loved that, I still was going in there like, is this the greatest, or is it just all a matter of subjective opinion? While I can safely say that Intolerance is not one of the greatest movies ever made, in my opinion, I do see why people would like it. It's respected to a certain degree nowadays, but back when it was released, critics and audiences really didn't know what to make of it. And despite the fact that the movie made its budget back, it was meant to do, like, gangbusters, and it simply just didn't do it. To the point where D.W. Griffith basically lived the rest of his life in financial ruin. But like I said, I can understand why people would like this movie. However, I have seen a lot better movies similar to this one in my lifetime. The biggest compliment that I could give to this movie is that it looks absolutely stellar. For 1916, the cinematography and the set design are just absolutely on point. In my research, I found that the set took up an entire section of Sunset Boulevard. An entire section. I'm not geographically inclined, but I would think that a whole section of a street is pretty freaking big. Despite the fact that it was a box office disappointment, the movie did feel like a labor of love, and that respect was more than shown on screen. But really, I think what hampers this movie, at least for me, is the fact that time, in a lot of ways, has not been kind to it. In the context of the 4 stories of the movie, The Passion of the Christ, The Fall of Babylon, St. Bartholomew's Day Massacre, and a modern American tragedy, have been told much better in the decades since its released. And the entire theme of these 4 stories being intertwined with each other and basically saying humanity kind of sucks and we treat each other like dirt, that movie's been done 100 times since then. Like, more so. That's a conservative estimate. But I sat there the entire time thinking to myself that if I wanted to watch a good Passion of the Christ movie, I'll just watch The Passion of the Christ. If I want to watch a good Swords and Sandals movie, I'll just watch Troy. If I want to watch a movie about France in, like, the late 1800s and how miserable that time was, I'll just watch, well, Les Miserables, which literally translates to The Miserable Ones. The point I'm trying to get at is that when it comes to this movie being called the greatest of all time, I just don't agree. I think at the time it could have been called that, and I can certainly respect people who say that it is the greatest of all time now, but I just think this movie's overrated. But that is all for me, guys. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Next time on the AFI Project, we're going to be jumping from the oldest movie on the AFI list to the youngest, from 1916 to 2001. And I'm going to be talking about one of my all-time favorite movies, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. But if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way, when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.